Join Special Olympics Illinois on October 17th at 7:30 p.m. for the virtual gala featuring athlete David Harlan and musical guest Bono Brothers Band. For event information and to watch, visit www.soill.org.
The mission of how I started podcasting and started Special Chronicles is giving respect and voice to those of us with special needs. I became an athlete of Special Olympics Illinois, and when I recorded the audio of the speeches that I was given and putting those up as podcasts, I soon received messages of encouragement, and I learned that it was a powerful platform and really helping to make a difference in people's lives. 12 years ago, I didn't expect that anybody would want to even listen to me. We have over 42,316 listeners per month. It's a humbling experience. I'm really grateful to make a difference in other people's lives.
Join Special Olympics. Join Special Olympics Illinois on October 17th at 7:30 p.m. for the virtual gala featuring athlete David Harlan and musical guest Bono Brothers Band. For event information and to watch, visit www.soill.org.
This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Podcasting since 2008. This is the show where we're broadcasting disability stories from an insider's perspective, and we are giving a voice to people with special needs. This is your weekly guide to find and joy, acceptance, and inclusion.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Coming up on the Special Chronicles show, episode 399, Augusta Wadjo and Erin Payton, comedy writers for this year's 2020 Special Olympics Illinois Virtual Gala, Saturday Night In. Coming up right now on SpecialChronicles.com is your exclusive sneak peek as we do here at Special Chronicles show. Welcome back to the Special Chronicles show. My name is Daniel, your host and founder of Special Chronicles and a Southern Survival International Global Messenger with Special Olympics. Well, put your hands together as we welcome to the Special Chronicles show, Wadjo and Erin. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
I saw you guys backstage kind of jamming out, doing that little intro.
Let's be honest. I was the one jamming out. Roger was sitting like a bump on the log.
Yeah. I didn't want to point anybody out, but so is that like a thumbs down emoji?
Yeah. That's his nickname at home.
Yeah.
Thumbs down emoji.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna keep the laughs going and as well. And I've got this up, and I've got a live audience to laugh if we need it.
That's
Great.
And I want to briefly mention we'll be bringing on in the show my Munto as an international global messenger and chief marketing officer for Special Olympics Illinois, Chris. Welcome back, Chris.
Thank you. And Roger and Erin cracked me up anyway, and the fact that they're a married couple, the married humor is right in line with me and my wife, so they cracked me
we
up.
aim to please.
That's what we try to do.
Thumbs down emoji, I get that.
Awesome. So hopefully all of our listeners, if you guys are listening or watching this episode on your phone, if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, use the thumbs down emoji in the comments. Or you can text me. I don't know if I have my text number up on the. I will find it and I'll put it up in the show later. So with that, a quick programming note: the Special Chronicles show is produced by the Special Chronicles Network. For 12 years, we have been producing groundbreaking and award-winning podcasts that give respect and voice to people with special needs. Listen to hundreds of podcasts heard globally by thousands of listeners for free and on demand on SpecialChronicles.com and on podcast apps everywhere. This episode is co-produced in collaboration with Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics in Illinois will be a global leader in shaping a culture where people with and without intellectual disabilities are fully integrated into the community by providing year-round opportunities in competitive sports, health, education, leadership, and personal development. Join us at soill.org. I don't know why I was reading all that, but
Danny, I think you should be a Jimmy John's delivery man.
I was going to say the Micro Machine commercial.
It was
from
really
the
good.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
should I? Yeah, let's.
I was going there too. I just couldn't remember what it was, Erin.
I know. Let's work on that. Yeah. Well, I did a briefly that Pandora voiceover talent thing a couple months ago. So I guess doing this for 12 years, you kind of pick up some voiceover stuff. Quickly, also, we want to mention briefly that support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. Join our supporters, and we're currently raising $12,000 in celebration of a 12-year celebration at Special Chronicles. Please support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give. You see that on your screen down below. If you listen to the podcast, then go check out the video, because I think we all have faces for radio, I think. Can I say
Except
that?
Erin.
What? Yeah, Erin wins.
With this lighting, I could really look like anything.
Yeah, awesome. So let's. I'm going to go ahead and just remove. Yeah, I will. Let me just go ahead and just. There we go. Let's. A brief introduction. Erin, Payton, you spent 5 years performing at Comedy Sports Chicago and 16 years improvising, coaching, and teaching at I.O. Chicago. She currently acts in the western suburbs and is a regular storyteller with Louder Than a Mom in Chicago. Offstage, she is the executive director of the 19th Century Charitable Association in Oak Park, Illinois. Roger Payton spent over 10 years improvising, coaching, and teaching at I.O. Chicago and performing at Improv Festival Showcase around the country. He currently performs and writes with the two-person group, the Talking Kill. I should read this before going on. The Talking Kill, named Best of Chicago Fringe Festival once upon a time, and is a main stage performer at the Laugh Out Loud Theater in Chicago and Schaumburg, Illinois. When he is not performing, he works in the advertising technology field. I don't know if the Chicago Fringe Festival is related to that Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland.
No.
It was. It was when Chicago. They launched it in 2006, and I performed there in 2007 and 2008, and it was blessed by Fringe. It was Fringe Edinburgh, like kind of branching out and starting those satellite Fringe festivals.
Well, I listened to this one BBC podcast called Ouch. It's a disability talk show on the BBC, and they do like these storytelling live events. And I think it would be awesome to like do that at Special Chronicles and like maybe with you guys or something and do like some type of comedy storytelling live type of event.
Storytelling that's one of my favorite things to do right now. I just did a online version of Louder Than a Mom like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it was fun because you miss performing. You miss a lot of things during a pandemic, but one of them is definitely performing and making people laugh. So
yeah. Well, yeah, I know definitely like with performing and speaking, you really do miss that. We were supposed to travel to Minnesota a few months ago, like this past summer, but like that was done virtually through Zoom, and performing and speaking is not the same virtually. Like if we will speak, like if we were doing this podcast in person, it would be totally different.
the energy just changes.
Yeah, and like luckily I did some live podcasts last week at O'Hare International Airport, and we hand sanitized the microphones. We all had to wear masks, but so it was all safe. But it's still, this virtually is still not the same.
Yeah.
But so let's have you introduce yourself to our listeners, kind of in addition to those bios that I read. But tell us about your connection to the Special Olympics Illinois community and your connection to our disability community, and then after Erin and Roger, we'll have Chris give a brief introduction to himself after you guys. But introduce yourself to our
Sure.
We are not super connected to Special Olympics Illinois, other than we live really close to your Lombard location. But we hop, skip, and a jump. We do have a connection to the special needs community. Our daughter has autism, and she is utterly amazing. And it's been just amazing to watch her grow and develop and just become the smartest gal we ever thought we ever could have. So, but with all of her successes come new challenges, and text Daniel now. So this has been really, really special for us to participate in this, because we feel like in a certain way we're helping her and all of her friends. Roger?
Yes. To all of that. Agree with what Erin said. Obviously. It's the connection with showing Alice, who's our daughter, she's 7 years old now. But to kind of show her, especially, we got to show her the video of the 2018 athlete
of the year. Oh my gosh, her name is
Bree,
the runner.
And it was amazing.
It was like looking into the future at our daughter in like 11 years because the personalities are so similar. And we've also thought she could be a long distance runner.
And just for her to see that, and we told her, like, well, you could do this in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she asked stuff like, could I do this? Like, you could do whatever you wanted to. You could join any club in high school. You could run in high school. You could wrestle in high school.
Yeah.
You get 2 scholarships, so mom and dad don't have to pay for college.
You get a tattoo.
That would be great.
You get a tattoo in high school. You can't get a tattoo in high school, but you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, awesome. There's speaking of Bree, there's a 50 game changers, and maybe if Chris, if you can send me the link that we can include in the show notes, but on specialchronicles.com. But there's a 50 game changers video. I don't know if you guys saw that ESPN did last year, beginning of last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
ESPN nationally did 50 game changers, and Bree was highlighted as one of them. I mean, on ESPN, it was amazing.
Yeah, that came out, I think, when we were in DC. So that was an amazing, and Bree is also an amazing singer as well. She sang at the World Games in Los Angeles. She sang
with OAR.
Yeah, with OAR.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there nothing she can't do? It's amazing.
Yeah. So it's amazing.
We're basically going to set our daughter up for never living up to our expectations.
Yeah.
If we want her to be like Bree.
Yeah. Well, when we come back to having events, hopefully we can all meet in person, but hopefully you can meet Bree.
That'd be awesome.
So, Chris, do you want to give a brief introduction to yourself?
You know who I am.
I know who you are.
I am the Chief Marketing Officer for Special Olympics Illinois. More importantly, I'm a brother of an athlete, David, who passed away 21 years ago, and that's why I do what I do. And then father of a young athlete, Ryan, who's 5. He does not have an intellectual disability, but much like the 18,000 young athletes in Illinois, 12,000 of them do not have an intellectual disability. And he's learning at such a young age as my other son, Cassidy, did. There is no stigma. I kind of liken it to, everyone always looks to the dominant trait in a human being to describe them. They have blonde hair, or they're tall, or this. With our athletes, they just happen to be intellectually disabled. But the abilities part, whether you're blonde or tall or whatever, the people don't see the ability. And it's good to have my sons at such a young age seeing that and people and Special Olympics athletes. So anyway.
Awesome. Well, we want to remind that all of our listeners that you can, if you have any comments if you're listening to this on demand, you can still send us your feedback, but we remind you, especially if you're watching live, you can text me right now. It's not my personal number, but it's a number I give out to fans. So like a lot of celebrities are doing now, it's the real me. It's just not my real number, but it is the real me. 630-280-3082. That's 630-280-3082. You can text me and I will get it on my phone. So with that, Roger and Erin, talk to us about how you got started with the Special Olympics Illinois Virtual Gala Saturday Night In. It's it's such a fun event to be there in person, but with everything being virtual, like virtual Summer Games was virtual, Chicago Ducky Derby was virtual, and now the gala is virtual. And I love people got a little sense at the beginning of the episode today with that 15-second promo video. But I personally have never seen Saturday Night Live. I just discovered the Daily Show podcast and YouTube channel. I just discovered that. So, and I think you guys have a connection with that maybe we'll get to. But talk to us about how did you first get started with being involved as comedy writers for Virtual Gala Saturday Night In?
Well, I used to work with Shelley Chenoweth, who works for Special Olympics Illinois. I used to work with her at the American Diabetes Association. And I think I'm old enough now to say 100 years ago, we used to work together. And we're Facebook friends. And one of the good things Facebook is good for is keeping people connected. So she sent me a message and said, hey, do you know anybody who... do you still know people who are comedy writers? Because we're looking to do a virtual gala. And I said, do I? I put on like my cigar and I was like, I do know somebody. I said, not only do I know somebody, but I know two people who live together and would make working together really easily. So I guess luckily for all of us, she was like, that's a great idea. And she ran it up the flagpole, probably to Chris, who said, I guess.
Sure.
And so we got brought on. And I'm so glad we did, because this has been such a great experience.
Awesome. And let's now bring in Chris as he shares with us the Special Olympics Illinois involvement. Shelley is awesome. She actually, fun fact, another fun fact, when I, as one of few people with disabilities that have graduated, few people with intellectual disabilities that have graduated from college, she actually went to Roosevelt University and actually saw a story about me, I think, in the student newspaper. So like that was kind of how we first got somewhat connected. I didn't find out until visiting the Lombard office, but yeah. So Shelley is awesome. So hopefully we can tag Shelley, we can tag Bree, we can tag all these people that we'll mention on the show to tune in. But Chris, do you want to share with with the Special Olympics involvement of how you and your team got connected with Wajo and Erin, and what it's like working with them? Chris? Is he frozen?
Yeah, he's a little frozen.
Yeah, a little frozen.
Sure.
There you go.
Actually, the real truth is how I met Erin.
Oh no, I
me?
wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
Can you see me now?
Yeah. We can still see you. Yeah. We can still see you. Live from your...
Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yeah.
You're a little sluggish.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little.
A little sluggish. A little sluggish.
How am I doing now?
I think if you talk, we can hear you. Your
Yeah.
visual is odd.
Yeah.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. The real truth is, living in Oak Park, I've gone to the 19th Century Club, and how I met Erin is she busted me stealing ashtrays.
Yeah.
And
We're really known for
she
our
was so funny.
heirloom ashtrays.
I know. And the lamps, when I walked in, I stole the ashtray successfully, and I tried to steal a lamp, and I just couldn't get that in my coat.
Yeah.
And she was so funny busting me that I'm like, you must be a writer. And then how can we hire you? Anyway.
Then I got on my cigar.
I'm
and
not
I
very
said,
funny. They're the
wow.
funny ones. I was going for humor there.
So I could get you in trouble, or you could hire me.
Your choice.
Or,
Choose which one.
How do you think I got married to this guy? Blackmail.
Exactly.
Do you anyone
No, we
what to do? Yeah, you can continue. Chris.
we looked at the show, and clearly to try to attempt to write a show like that on our own, that's like a it's a plane flying into the side of a mountain. It's like you're trying to come to the level of being really funny, and then you're trying to write it yourself. I mean, we don't do what Roger and Erin do, so we're like, that is going to be so bad. So, with Shelley finding them, I love how she reached out to you, Erin, because that usually means, I'm not sure who I should ask, but I really hope you say yes. But to have them come in and they gave us some great groundwork and great scripts for us to get going, because these things can obviously fall flat on our face if it could be amateur or if we try to do it ourselves. So to have the two of them do it has been phenomenal. And I've seen, not to peek behind the curtain, but I've seen some of the rough drafts of the scenes, the skits, and I think people are going to show up and they're not going to expect that level of humor and production out of it. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it.
Great.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, the idea of kind of turning when we were kind of given the idea of like, we want to make it like an SNL show, it was just such a great idea. And the world that we live in now, where it's just this all day kind of Zoom events, and they all look the same, and I can understand like wanting to have a gala where you're like, we could just do a Zoom meeting, or we could try to add a little bit to it. Yeah, make it something that
a production.
Production, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a couple before, like back in April and May, and it was just what you talked about. It was, somebody from the radio rooming with the executive director of the charity, and they were just bantering back and forth. And then there was obvious served up, hey, let's go talk to this family who just dialed in, and they were pre-recorded and it sounded canned. And to your point, and that had been done, right? So it might work the first or second time because it's new, but it kind of gets people catch on real quick.
Yeah, everyone's doing it.
Yeah. It's awesome that you guys have been able to really kind of create something new, something that people are familiar with, Saturday Night Live, but kind of create a new fun evening where can still have the same and maybe even greater effect.
I'd like to think it'll be greater than Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you're good. So the perfect transition that Chris had said is he mentioned some of behind the scenes of writing the script, and that's a good transition. In podcasts, we always look from transition from this topic to that topic, this segment to that segment, and take us back, Roger and Erin, and was our guests on the Special Chronicles show, Roger and Erin, as we give you an exclusive sneak peek of this year's Special Olympics Illinois virtual gala, Saturday Night In, and take us back to when you first began writing the script. Tell us about the process of writing comedy skits. I listened to a few comedy podcasts, like from Bob Saget and that's really one of the main comedy podcasts. Conan O'Brien and a few kind of shameless plugs. But after you're done listening to this show, go check out Bob Saget. He actually calls fans on the phone on some of his episodes.
Well, that's fun.
Okay. Anyways, with that, take us back to take us back to when you first started writing the script. What tell us about your process and what was it like writing the comedy skits?
Well, we had never written really anything together. We had each written plays and sketches and short stories and storytelling things and jokes and stuff separately.
Yeah, but never together. So it was funny. We sat down. We sat down actually to write together for the first time.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we sat down because we each have our own thing. What do we? I pulled up a Google Doc.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is how I did it with a partner I used to work with, and I just started typing, and I was like, jump in and just write on top of what I'm writing. That's how I do it. And she was like, no.
This is not working for me. And so what we decided to do instead was to just, and then it actually ended up working really well, was we wrote some stuff separately, or we wrote parts of the same sketch separately and then brought it together and then compared it and stuff. And that really worked.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe I'm more of a lone wolf writer and he's more of a collaborator.
Yeah, I think because we originally like pitched the ideas to Chris and his team, and they said, like this, like go with it, work on this. And what's the one thing we wrote together? I guess the weekend update. So the middle of it, there's the weekend update.
But still in pieces, still separately from each other. But it really, it was amazing at how it was fun. Like we don't really fight in general. But we didn't fight it over anything. We really listened to each other. And even if we disagreed, we kind of like, sometimes he got his way and sometimes I got my way with how it should sound.
Yeah, there was definitely one that you wrote. I think it was probably the
it's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
Well, I thought we could do
a sketch in the running order, and I definitely think I added like 2 jokes, and she was like, "No, like no, that's mine. Take those out." I was like, "But this would make it funnier." And she was like, "Nope."
No, I was probably right.
That's where it was.
But it was really fun. And the nice thing was Special Olympics Illinois gave us really good parameters in the beginning, and then they also gave us good feedback in the middle and then towards the end. And that made it a lot easier. We didn't feel like we were as much writing into a void or like a black hole. We kind of felt like it was more structured. And I need that for my writing. And so that was really helpful for me.
Yeah.
So thank you all.
Awesome. Did you guys heal from any athlete stories, or did you fit in any athlete stories into any of the comedy skits, or did you without
Daniel, you're making it tough for us. I signed a non-disclosure agreement. I can't give away anything.
Put it this way: the athletes are featured, but Roger and Erin picked up on it really quick, Daniel, that while we want to have fun with the athletes, we don't want to have it at their expense.
Yeah.
So, and they definitely didn't do that, and they picked up on that, of course, right away.
Yeah, I would say we talked about, we featured some of the sports that the athletes do, and I would say that's kind of what we focus more on.
Yeah, we asked like, what are the sports that you really want to highlight that the athletes participate in, and I think we wrote jokes about those sports, but not about the athletes. Yeah.
The other thing they did really well, Daniel, is Patrick Fazio, who's the MC from NBC5. We got him on the phone to meet Roger and Erin because they wrote his monologue. And we're not going to give you what it was, but as we talked to him, I mean, they led the conversation, but we all talked to him, and there was a big commonality that kind of came out at what's going on in his life at the moment in a funny way. And that ended up being part of his monologue. And it was actually him and I started, it was something him and I both dealt with as fathers in a funny way. And Roger and Erin picked up on that right away. And the cool thing about it was when we filmed it, it was very seamless for Patrick and I to do it, because everyone's like, why is it seems like it's going off well. Like, we view this as parents, you see this all the time, and it's like it's pretty easy to imitate, but without giving too much, that was real helpful, and that made the monologue skit real good.
Awesome. Is there any, we don't want to give anything away because we want people to tune in. If you're watching this, if you're listening to the podcast, then go check out the video on demand previously aired. But if you're watching this live right now, October 17th, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, because I know we've got some viewers and listeners watching us in other time zones. So 7:30 p.m. Central Time, October 17th. SOIRL.org. Tune in. But without giving too much away, can you give us maybe what are some of the sports you guys are going to be featuring in some of these comedy skits? What are any kind of exclusive?
Well, you know what's fun is that we aren't sure. We wrote more than necessary, so we're not sure what we wrote made it into the show. So that's a kind of a fun surprise for us. But I do think soccer made it in. But some of the other jokes, we're not sure any of the other sports because we decided to give them a potpourri of jokes that they could then just use whichever ones worked and then cut the rest of them.
Yeah, I think we gave there was one sketch that's I'm assuming is probably going to be 7 or 8 minutes that we gave 10, 12 pages for and said, cut whatever. So it'll be fun to find out what made it.
So speaking of deleted scenes and / kind of somewhat of a follow-up question, do you guys have like a YouTube channel where viewers can watch any of your comedy skits or any?
Oh, well, I can tell you, I have, with my job, I have gotten forced to do a lot of things that I didn't think I was going to, including hosting weekly virtual programs. Yeah. So if you go to www.19thcentury.org, I'm going to do a plug for my day job.
For day job.
I got to host interviews with Jonathan Alter and Rick Bragg and all these people. I'm like, how did this happen? So it's just another example of the pandemic giving you lemons and also giving you some delicious lemonade. And I bet if you do some searches, you can find some old stuff. You are fast, Daniel, but 19th is spelled out.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I should have said that. So you say, I bet there's some old stuff you can find of the Raj and I separately.
Probably, yeah. There's probably some old stuff separately. I know I have a Facebook page out there, like everyone, but I know the Talking Cure has one, and I know we have at least 10, 12 videos up, and we're not done on YouTube, but.
And then the thing I did recently for Louder Than a Mom is up somewhere too. It was just like a 5 or 6 minute story I told. Enough about us. More about Special Olympics Illinois.
So briefly, just for our podcast listeners who might not be watching the video, but go check out the video on YouTube. 19thcentury.org is about NINETHCNTURY.org. Okay, so enough of that. We want to get back to Special Olympics and the upcoming virtual gala that you can tune in on October 17th. I'm trying to do this from memory. October 17th, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, SOIRL.org. Yes?
Yep. If I could add in too, if people want to tune in early at 7:00, we kind of have what Lynn Bramer and XRT call the Chicago Supergroup. We've got members of the Freddie Jones Band, Tributosaurus, Bodines, and Mr. Blotto. They play a set from 7 to 7:30, and then at the end, you'll see they play another set at the end of the gala when it's over. So if you want to tune in as early as 7, you can see some great music. It was actually recorded at the Wire in Berwyn, specifically for Special Olympics Illinois.
Is that original music, or are they doing covers of their various former bands?
They do covers, a lot of covers, but they do play "Take the Time" and "In a Daydream," which are big Freddie Jones hits.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drummers from the Bodines, he was actually with the Bodines during the heyday. And then the true Mr. Blotto guys are just, I don't know if anybody knew this, but Mark Haig, who plays guitar for Mr. Blotto, he's the one who plays guitar on Take the Time with Freddie Jones.
Great.
So he came, and then the keyboard player is Chris Neville from Tributosaurus, he does a great version of Use Me by Bill Withers.
Oh, it's a great song.
Yeah, great song.
Awesome. So one
more guy, Fran Banish, who's one of the lead guitar. He was big on the LA music scene, played with Dylan and Jackson Brown. Actually, weird fact, he gave guitar lessons to Brad Pitt, and he was a Fenwick high school guy with the Bono brothers from Freddie Jones. So it's a big Oak Park kind of consortium of folks. So it should be a lot of fun, a lot of good music.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to and just for our listeners, is it also going to be on live streamed on YouTube as well, or?
No, you can go to soill.org or follow us on Facebook, which is at Special Olympics Illinois.
Awesome. So I know I have plans to get it on my TV I'll go to soill.org, just like all of you should, guys, too. And you can is that possible? Can you stream it on your TV?
Yeah, that's above
smart TV, I would assume. If you have a smart TV, you should be able to get to the internet.
If you can pull a browser up on your TV, you should be able to.
Yeah, you should be able to. So I put all the information.
I'm in marketing, not IT. I don't know.
We need to call up Dan.
I just know how to tell people that they should do it. I don't know
how to do it. Yeah, I know. Like I know. I'm surprised. I'm able to do all this stuff fast because my video producer is not on. It's not backstage here, so I'm trying to do all this as well. So yeah, we just tell people. But yeah, so when people tune in live October 17th at 7 p.m. pre-show, show starts at 7:30 p.m. Central Time at soill.org. Can you give us Wajo and Erin, once again, comedy writers for Saturday Night In? Give us a little bit more of a sneak peek of what can our viewers expect. You mentioned that there's going to be some fun skits and fun jokes. Is any more of a sneak peek without giving too much away, but any more sneak peek that you can give? And then Chris, I'll let you add on to that after Wajo and Erin share a little bit more of a sneak peek.
Well, I will tag one thing on to what Chris was saying, was that Patrick, when we did talk to him the first time from NBC5, he has a really good sense of humor. And so we were like, yes, because if there had been kind of a more taciturn or stick in the mud host, this would have been really awkward.
Yeah, I think right away we were like, we asked him about himself, asked him like what kind of sports background you have, and I think we both kind of tentatively said, how do you feel about making fun of yourself? How do you feel? And he was immediately like, oh yes, that's not a problem at all. Because some people would be like, no, absolutely not. And it was great that he was like, without giving too much away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one other hint, is that he's not going to be afraid to look a little goofy.
Awesome. And Chris?
I be vague. So you get the monologue. Much like Saturday Night Live, it's a cold open, and for those who don't know what that means, you're coming. There's no intro. You're just going right into the skit. And I'm pretty much going to give it away, but I have to do with the times right now. And then the monologue, and then weekend update, and then the band who plays before and after. There's also, they do much like Saturday Night Live. They'll play, they switch it up actually, and they're playing electric before and after, but they do an acoustic version of a very popular song that you'll like. And that takes it's not an hour and a half Saturday Night Live. It's half an hour, 25 minutes. And then the Gala show itself, it's like 45 minutes. And then the last 20 minutes, we go into the mission of Special Olympics and, preaching the mission, and people have a chance to win a trip to Austin, to Hilton Head, to go glamping, the trip to Park City. So there's an online auction element. And then, at the end of the 45 minutes, they can, there'll be like probably another 45-minute music set that'll keep going. So while the show is 45 minutes, the comedy and the mission part, the full show with music is 2 hours. We figure it's Saturday Night Live, and Saturday night, and if you're having guests over or you're not, it's kind of something. It's a couple hours that'll go by really, really fast, and it's Saturday night, so people are going to have fun and keep it rolling.
Awesome. I'm trying to add one more thing too, so we can let people know. You can go to it's inspiregreatnessgala.org. Mm-hmm. So we want to remind people to go there to bid and support, and then as I drop my pen, head to soill.org. October 17th, 7 p.m. pre-show, 7:30 p.m. Central start time, soill.org. Can we say it enough in this episode?
Plus, Daniel, also real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be little shout outs from Apollo Ono.
Oh, yeah.
With Jordan Klepper from The Daily Show, which Erin and Roger are helped with and real close to. Lynn Bramer from WXRT and a lot of other fun things. So
awesome.
There's fun little moments in between too.
Yeah. It was awesome. If people want to hear a little bit more from Apollo and lessons that he's learned from sports, we put a little plug out for go back in the archives on specialchronicles.com/show. Yeah.
There it is.
There we go. There it is. specialchronicles.com/show and look for the conversation with Apollo Ono, and you can hear if you listen to the whole episode, you might get a little let's just say you can hear more from Apollo, and then go to we'll put a little plug for, if you go to specialolympics.org and search for Abu Dhabi Daily Show, you can watch a live interview with Apollo, right?
That's right.
So
live, a really cool cameraman too.
Yeah, there was a cool cameraman. I don't know who that guy was.
Was he wearing a Special Olympics hat?
Did he have a hat on?
Yeah, behind the scenes. Keep him behind the camera.
Let's say that this guy also doubled as my bag curio and as my social media guy.
This guy sounds amazing.
Wow.
I know.
I heard he has a really rad basement too.
Yeah. And a man cave.
It's tough to point backwards and reverse. Michigan.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know.
Look at Michigan over here. Yeah.
I know all of the people listen to this later on demand on podcast are wondering what are they talking about. Well, go check out the video.
Yeah,
and
video jokes on podcasts always
hit their mark.
What?
Video jokes on podcasts where you can't see what you're looking at.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because like a lot of podcasts now are going to like video. So like, yeah, it's like I'm and the funny thing, I don't know about you guys, but like when you listen to the podcast, do you go check out the video?
No.
Like, no.
One or the other.
I listen to a lot of them, but and then I'm always like, wait, this is on video. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, so with that, but we totally want people to go check out this video.
This one.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like they want to see that you guys have a great face for radio.
Yeah.
And
we look like brother and sister.
It happens after years of marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, one of the guest appearances that listeners will hear, and I know we're a little late for taking a break, but it's podcast, so we'll take a break after this. Before we get to our closing final thoughts. But one of the guest appearances, in addition to an 8-time Olympic medalist, my friend and Chris's friend, Apollo Ono, he's a pretty awesome dude. I mean, can we say that? Yeah. In addition to him, another one that friends of you guys. So I feel like it's all about connections that Chris and I have with Apollo, connections that you guys have with Jordan Klepper from The Daily Show.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I just started to checking out videos on YouTube, which is kind of pretty awesome. I think it's the social distancing Daily Show or something like.
Oh, is it?
They did, yeah.
I think they kind of changed the name a little bit. And so, with it, how did you guys get connected with? Did you guys meet what's his name, the host?
No.
Oh no.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
I wish. No, we've both known Jordan for a really long time, but I played improvised with him at IO on a team called Carl and the Passions. Shout out to that team. Dear in my heart. for a number of years, and he is just a really, really nice guy and a stand-up guy. And I don't. I guess as you might know this with like athletes. You see an athlete or you see someone in your field, and you're like, oh, that person's gonna go and do something that I'm not going to. And Jordan was definitely one of those guys. And I've kept in touch with him since he moved to New York, and I reached out to him. They were like, well, you guys are comedians. Certainly, you know everybody. We're like, I know some people. So I reached out to him and let him know what we were doing. And he was like, yeah, I'd love to participate. And he is originally from Kalamazoo, I believe, Michigan. So he's, from the area, and again, lived in Chicago for a number of years, and is just a great guy. And he's just so funny on The Daily Show that it's unbelievable, because he's so smart, and his delivery is amazing, and what he's doing right now is just whew. But so he was very kind and generous, and gave some of his time and made a little video.
Also, can you guys give us a sneak peek to the video that Jordan Kleppo is going to be doing for the Daily Show? I know I'm trying to ask, but like I feel like as host, it's kind of my job to try to kind of get a little bit more out of you guys. But,
yeah, I'm involved, Daniel. You're not going to get anything.
Yeah. How about this? It's funny.
It's funny. And our listeners are going to be doing a lot of this. So
I think he has a beard in the video. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps. Yeah. So let's just say, go check out Jordan Kleppo on the Daily Show on YouTube, and then that's how our listeners can get a little sneak peek, right?
Got a little Where's Waldo moment. There is a part in the show for the Chicago news fans where Pat Cassidy from WBBM News.
Oh yeah.
Had a part in it, a voiceover part.
Oh wow!
So you have to listen to find it.
Awesome. Yeah. And is there any, before we go ahead and take a short commercial break, is there any kind of Easter eggs or kind of little things that people can kind of try to find in this? It's going to be what, an hour and a half, 45-minute virtual gala show?
No, but I got a totally funny story. But one of the things for the weekend update, we were trying to find a news desk, and my wife works at WTTW, and they're remodeling the Chicago Tonight show, and they were getting rid of Phil Ponce's old desk. Oh. So the desk that he did the news at for 20 years, wow. We ended up not using it, but it's the desk I'm sitting at now. When I brought it home, I'm like, there's no way I'm throwing that out.
You took it home? You have to.
It's my desk. It's actually it's a great work desk. So I work now on Phil Ponce's desk, which is kind of that was gonna be a Easter egg kind of thing, Daniel. It didn't make the show because it's more of a news magazine kind of desk kind of thing than it is a 10 o'clock news desk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
anyway.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a short commercial break. And when we come back, we want to remind you, you can text me right now, 630-280-3082, 630-280-3082. All of you at home, grab your phone and open up your texting app and just text me. And with that, we're going to go ahead and just take a short commercial break. And when we come back, we will continue with some talking about what inclusion means for Erin and Roger, and Chris can add his quiz too. And we'll get to some final thoughts all after the break. While our Special Chronicles sneak peek conversation continues with Erin and Roger, where we're giving you an exclusive of the Special Olympics Illinois virtual gala Saturday Night In, continues right after the break, right here on SpecialChronicles.com. Oh, I should hit it. It would help. There we go.
Hi, my name is Lisa Noble, and I'm a ComEd Energy Force Ambassador and an athlete with Special Olympics Illinois.
Hi, my name is Daniel Smrokowski, and I also am a ComEd Energy Force Ambassador and founder of a company called Special Chronicles.
The ComEd Energy Force program is a program that hires people with disabilities to teach the public how to save energy and money.
It's the country's first energy efficiency program of its kind.
Saving energy is especially important while everyone is at home due to COVID-19. We're using more electricity than ever before. Just think about how many more times you are opening the refrigerator door these days.
And while the economy is stressed, it's more critical than ever to save money where we can. Following these tips can save energy and money in this time of COVID-19.
Wash your clothes in cold water and use the dryer sparingly.
Your dryer can take up to 7 times more energy than the washer.
Turn off and unplug any electrical devices or power strips you are not using.
Electrical devices can continue to zap power even when turned off if they're still plugged in. We call them vampire devices.
Use LED bulbs.
They use 25% less energy than incandescent bulbs and last up to 25 times longer, saving you lots of money over time.
Keep your refrigerator between 35 and 38 degrees.
And be sure to use Energy Star appliances.
And last but not least, check out ComEd.com/home savings for more tips and rebates.
Lisa and I would like to thank you for taking the time to listen to us today.
Remember, we are all in this together.
Stay healthy.
And stay safe.
Bye.
By listeners like you. Please support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give. That's specialchronicles.com/give.
And I want to remind you that ComEd is powering lives, and they are powering us to keep all the lights on and keep all this plugged in. So we thank ComEd for the generous support. And you can go to specialchronicles.com/give to donate today.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
equality,
Dignity,
and the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop.
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
More divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution.
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
Join Special Olympics Illinois on October 17th at 7:30 p.m. for the virtual gala featuring athlete David Harlan and musical guest Bono Brothers Band. For event information and to watch, visit www.soill.org.
And you are listening to the Special Chronicles show. This is episode 399, right here on specialchronicles.com. Our guests are Erin and Roger, Payton, and guest appearance by Chris Winston. Talking all about what?
Why is that funny?
I don't know why it's because like it's mainly Erin and Roger, and then actually I
was the fungus just tagging along.
Yeah, just tagging along all about the upcoming Special Olympics Illinois virtual gala, Saturday night in. And with that, I sent a little private message backstage to you, Erin and Roger, and I'm going to turn it quickly over to you.
Yeah.
A surprise, an impromptu surprise thing.
Oh, you want us to do it?
Oh, I guess all of us.
Okay.
Improv?
I guess we could do like a 185.
I'm sure we could. Yeah.
But we need your help.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to give us. So I haven't improvised in about 2 years.
Yeah.
So this is terrible, Daniel. It's your fault.
Yeah. So here's This is, we do this. I do this at Laugh Out Loud a little bit, and if I'm terrible at this, it's my fault.
So this is a short form game, which means really it's just joke. So the explanation. Oh, you do.
The explanation is like, so Daniel, what is a fruit that's yellow, maybe has potassium in it, shaped like a banana? Just say banana.
Banana. That sounds
great. So I would say, so 185 bananas walk into the bar. Bartender says, we can't serve 185 bananas here. Bananas say, all right, we'll split.
185 bananas walk into a bar, and bartender says, you got to go. And the banana says, well, you're not very appealing.
185 bananas walk into a bar. Bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve 185 bananas here. Bananas say, what do you think? I'm yellow? And that
one.
They're yellow.
Yeah, I got that. So we'll try it. Why don't you throw us out, Chris? Give us something that is found in your kitchen.
A ladle.
Okay. All right.
Don't run me over if you see me walking through town, okay?
All right. 185 ladles walk into the bar. Bartender says, we're not going to serve your kind. And the ladles say, ooh, I'm feeling stewed about that. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Ladle. 185 ladles walk into a bar. Bartender says, I'm sorry, I can't serve 185 ladles here. The ladles say, well, I guess we'll leave. And the bartender says, no, wait, I'm soupsy.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
That was really bad. I've never gotten ladle in my life. That's so good.
And I've never used a ladle before.
Wait,
I don't think we have one.
I used a ladle this week, actually. I used a ladle the other day.
Okay, how about a spatula?
Wait, how do you make
I got it. 185 spatulas walk in a bar. Bartender says, we're not going to serve you. And they're like, why? We're thirsty. And they say, well, I serve you. And then you always flip out on me.
185 spatulas walk into a bar. Bartender says, I'm sorry, we can't serve 185 spatulas here. Spatulas say, but what if we lift you up? Terrible.
That's improv.
That was kind of tipsy.
You don't want us to keep going. So that's short form improv. I did that for 5 years with Comedy Sports. I haven't done that in 13 years. But the other kind of improv is long form, and that is more where you have longer scenes. They're more relationship based, and that's kind of where we met 13 years ago doing improv, and our focus, both of ours at that time, was long form improv, where the show itself was about 30 minutes.
Yeah,
and there's you have interweaving stories, and everything it's almost like an improvised play.
Yeah, you just get a suggestion, and the point is to kind of you make up a scene. And so it looks like a sitcom. It looks like anything you'd see on TV, but it's all made up on the spot. Two people talking.
So my girlfriend Georgia and I, that we also hold, in addition to this show, we also host the previously Daniel and Georgia show. But when I put up a poll up on Instagram stories, 85% of the listeners voted to change the name to the Georgia and Daniel show. It's I still probably haven't gone over it. Anyways,
I thought of a ladle joke.
I thought of a better spatula joke. I just thought of a better spatula joke.
185 ladles walk into a bar, and the bartender says, we don't serve your kind. And the ladles say, but we're super. That was better.
185 spatulas walk into a bar. Bartender says, sorry, we don't serve 185 spatulas here. Bartender, spatulas flip out.
I did that one. He wasn't.
That was their first one.
This is like a marriage. He doesn't listen to me when I talk to him, and then he repeats me. I'm like, all right, moving on.
I know how that is.
But if anybody wants to see some really good long form improv, if you can do a search for TJ and Dave, it's TJ Jagodowski and Dave Pasquazi. They're considered two of the finest improvisers in the world, and they're also two of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. So TJ and Dave, I think there was a movie made about them. But if you really want to learn what good long form improv is, and not this schlock,
It's incredible. Yeah.
Check it out.
Awesome. So I think I put that up on the screen.
Yep.
And briefly, as we move on, but so my girlfriend George and I, on one of our podcast episodes, we were in our back porch and we taped the show live from our back porch. And we, at the beginning of the show, we were eating grapes before the show, right? And so we don't do this on every episode, but we try to do like some type of fun improv type at the beginning of the episode. Not all episodes, but some. And so we were eating grapes, and it was like, "Hey, babe, let me feed you a grape." And then, so I fed her a grape at the beginning of the show, and then she fed me a grape. I did put a little parental disclaimer, like, in case we have kids that listen. But yeah, so I don't know if that was really funny, but.
No, I think the disclaimer on healthy eating is important.
Well, yeah, we're all about feeding each other, but
I get you. That's awesome.
Ladle joke in there, man. You're rolling.
Oh, the ladle, yeah. We'll have to add the ladle joke next time. So
throw a little ladle joke in there, and you're rocking.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Real little.
So people can expect jokes like that, and probably even better. Right?
I would say I'm gonna hope it's better.
We actually
hope it's better.
We actually thought of the jokes ahead of time, so they would be funnier.
Aaron and Roger, I got to ask you a question. I'm sorry. Other than probably practice, what's key to improv? Just keep plowing. Don't get tripped up, or.
So there's a couple of theories on it. And
Yeah.
one is truth in comedy, that to just try to find a way to answer truthfully in your character. And they say listening really is what's so funny is people are like, I could never do improv. It's exactly the same what we're doing right now, because this is not scripted, right? And in this conversation, if you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say and not listening to the person talking to you, your response is not going to be authentic.
Yeah, the term is yes and. You're supposed to listen and say yes and it's supposed to be as simple as that. At least like the two people talking to each other, making up a scene. It's supposed to be as simple as yes, like blah 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 blah. Yes, oh yeah, yes, and it's supposed to build, and you're not supposed to think about trying to tell a joke. It just kind of builds naturally.
Yeah.
But the other thing I would say, especially for our amazing stuff right there, I was always taught with that quick short form, quick improv stuff. Confidence is key.
Yeah.
Because if it's not funny, if you're confident,
you sell it.
It might appear to be funny.
Last thing I'll say is editing. Having your partner have people who are behind you have your back and no one to edit is also super helpful.
Awesome.
Kind of jump in and take the eye off it, kind of thing.
Or just they know when the next beat has to happen.
They know
there's rhythms. Just like with jazz music, right? That's largely improvised. You know when to move to the next section of it.
Awesome. Well, I definitely think you guys should start a YouTube channel and put these skits up on there.
85 kitchen utensils.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna be up all night thinking of ladle and spatula jokes.
That's the whole.
You can feel free to text me those ladle jokes at 630-280-3082, and or just any jokes, and we'll say on an upcoming episode. So speaking of that, as we come to a close, I'm trying to find, there was a listener question that related to the question I had in the show notes. There we go. So similar to in the Abu Dhabi Daily Show, which try saying that 10 times fast. I don't know who came up with that name.
I would have said the Abu Dhabi Daily Show run by Fred Flintstone, you know?
Yeah, I know. Anyways, a question we always ended was, what does inclusion mean to you? And so I'm going to ask you, Erin and Roger, ask you the same thing. And Chris, you can add your 2 cents. Chris has had a lot more time to think of his answer. So, from time in Abu Dhabi, coming up on 2 years ago, right? And so Chris, you can add after, but anyone watching, what does inclusion mean to you?
Oh, I would say, as being a special needs parent, what has really been exciting for me is that our generation of parents, I feel like, have a whole different mindset than my parents' generation of parents. Yeah. And they're raising kids now to be inclusive. And it's just been really exciting for us as our daughter has transitioned from a special needs classroom into a mainstream classroom. She's just part of the group, and it's been natural. And I think that is, I feel like inclusion is more organic now than it used to be. It's not as forced.
Yeah. Inclusion to me, to go off that point, to inclusion for me, like being the father of a child with autism, is exactly what Erin said. And it's that everybody, it's not that everyone's special. It's that everybody is themselves. And there's this feeling that yourself isn't good enough sometimes, or that no one will like yourself, or that I can't be myself, or I can't show myself to the world. And inclusion is that yourself is good enough. Mm-hmm. You're good enough. Everyone's good enough. And anyone that tells you anyone else isn't good enough, they're not good enough.
Yeah.
That's
stinkers.
That's what inclusion is to me, is that especially like to see our daughter like have special needs friends and non-special needs friends, and they all play together. They all play together.
It's just amazing. Yeah. And it's like they're just kids. And there's no label to them. Yep. They're literally just kids who play together. And that is just amazing.
Awesome. Well, before we get to Chris, a quick question before I forget. Did you get the plans to have your daughter get involved as an athlete in Special Olympics?
Well, our daughter is really into theater. And so she's done a lot of plays.
The opposite of sports.
But I do think that she unfortunately inherited my coordination, which is nothing. And I think that getting involved in some sports would really help her with some of her gross motor function problems. And she has some friends who are in Special Olympics, and for some reason because she is so really not into sports, we've never thought about it. But
we told her, like, if you want to do this, like, you'll meet so many people. You're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah.
And she likes to jog.
She likes to run. Yeah, that doesn't require too much coordination.
Awesome. Well,
one of our biggest sports too.
What's that?
Track and field is one of our biggest spor's. So with the most people.
And it's something that we both like to do.
Yeah.
We're, and so it's something we could do as a family. So we've she's already done 2 1-mile runs with us for fundraisers. So that's something that she could probably get into.
Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to that, and then she can become an athlete leader and maybe even an international global messenger.
Again, no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. But as we get to Chris to answer that question, so follow us at IGM, Hannah, Colorado. I don't know why those put the hashtags on there, but Hannah we'll give a brief shout out to Hannah. She has a new website called wholeheartedlyhannah.com. Is that correct? Did I get that correct? wholeheartedlyhannah.com. Go check it out. She's awesome. And Hannah can I ask the question that I ask as well. But Chris, do you want to answer Hannah's question? What does inclusion mean to you?
I would agree with Roger and Erin. It's like, I feel the same way. What frustrates me the most is how can you be critical of another human being? Because that just makes you instantly hypocritical. You know what I mean? It's like, and I always feel like somebody may be the best macrame in the world, but they are the best, you know, and they might have an intellectual disability. I mean, somebody's really good at something. And to pick on other people about, you know, their inabilities is just, to me, it's hypocritical because everyone's got them, you know, everyone has something, and also so everyone has ability. And, you know, the way I look at it too is like we talk about with Special Olympics and our relevancy, you know, it's like, you know, our athletes are, they meet at the intersection of, you know, race, religion, sexual orientation, disability. Their Black Lives Matter. They are below the poverty line. They are in need of food. They are, you know, disabled. They are all these other things. And I think also, you know, Daniel, what I always think about, which always amazes me, is you know, for somebody like myself, I've been bullied, but it's always been situational. I've never been bullied with frequency. And to watch that, you know, with Special Olympics athletes, to go from the depths of bullying constantly to the heights of, you know, what you've said, you know, all we want to do is love those who hate. It's a gap that most people don't transcend, and it's awesome. It's because, you know, you have an inclusionary mind, and I just, again, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's like, shouldn't we all be inclusionary? Because it's not be, it's kind of hypocritical, but I don't know. That's in a nutshell.
Yeah,
and I agree. It's like, you know, Alice, I haven't met her, but she's probably one of the kindest, sweetest people you probably ever meet. And
now she's trying to she really wants her own YouTube channel, and we have had to tell her several times no. So if she had her way, you would be watching her YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know. And that quote that I said, hate can be that us athletes show hate. No, that's not what I said. Us athletes show love to people.
You show hate to those who hate.
What?
What?
Wait, what?
Nothing. Go ahead. I'm interrupting.
Say what? Okay. Let's clarify. Please, nobody take that soundbite. Us athletes show love to people that show us hate. And when you said that, your daughter said that Ella said that you wanted a YouTube channel, definitely have a weight ears in you. Yeah. Because when I interviewed the entire cast of the show Bone This Way on A&E, I don't know if you guys watch that show, but I interviewed the entire cast and the creator, Jonathan Moe, but he, there was some, it's still all those video podcasts are still up on our YouTube channel, but there was some, you can't see the comments, but there were some bad comments from some viewers. And so definitely, and even when she does, I do recommend that you guys.
Oh, don't worry about it. We're trying to put the kibosh on that as much as possible to let her just be a kid. Yeah.
Because like there's so many young kids that have YouTube channels, but I think it's good to.
Let her be a kid.
Yeah. So with that, how can our listeners connect with both of you on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, website?
Again, for me, the best way, I'm just going to keep plugging the 19thcentury.org because that's the best place to see all the cool things that I'm doing and see me try to do. Basically, Daniel, I'm doing everything you're doing. I run all the tech. I do just like a one-man band. And Raj?
You can find me. I am Twitter active, so at RajPodge.
How do you spell that?
RODGPODG. That's what they called me.
They. The ominous they.
The royal they. That was my in high school.
Right?
Podge.
At RODGPODG.
Yeah, PODG. So at RODGPODG. PODG. Yep, yeah. PODG. Yep.
Oh, PODG.
Yep.
DG. There you go.
Yep.
I'm gonna, as Chris answers his, I'm going to go on Twitter and follow you from at PodmanDan and at Special C Podcast right now on Twitter.
You got 2 followers now, Raj.
So as Chris answers that, we will, and let me go ahead and just put up just. And I think I got this right. Hold on. Let's see if I'm good at remembering this. There you go, Chris. I'll let Chris you ask for both you and then Special Olympics Illinois as well.
Twitter is at SO_Illinois. Facebook and Instagram is at Special Olympics Illinois for both.
Awesome.
Can I give a kudos to Special Olympics Illinois really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
That group that we worked with, it's like they really were working on a NBC show. I mean, they're so professional and so organized, and just really wanting this gala to be amazing. And so I really wish everybody at Special Olympics Illinois the best with this gala. I know from experience, switching to a virtual platform is not fun, and they have just gone leaps and bounds above anything, as to Chris's point, that we've seen.
They ran with it, which is great.
It's just really they really deserve all of the kudos they get from this.
Thank you. That's really, really nice of you to say.
Thank you.
Really
of course.
Appreciate that.
So with that, before we get to some final thoughts, just want to quickly mention to our listeners, you can, of course, text me, 630-280-3082, 630-280-3082, and SpecialChronicles.com is the place to go to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast, and remember to rate, review, and follow us to be notified of new episodes that drop weekly right here on the Special Chronicles Network. Subscribe to the Special Chronicles Show. You can subscribe to the Georgia and Daniel Show. Subscribe to the Unified at Work Show, Daniel's SSIGM Journal podcast. All these different podcasts. Go to SpecialChronicles.com. On all these podcasts are totally lit. I honestly still have no clue what lit means. But with my boss and boss's boss, we kept using the word lit on a podcast that people can hear this week. And it's all attempt at trying to be hip. So SpecialChronicles.com is the place to go. It's your source to find enjoy, acceptance, and inclusion that gives respect and voice to people with disabilities, special needs. I hope you have enjoyed this week's episode. Our guests have been Wajo and Erin, comedy writers for this year's Special Olympics Illinois Virtual Gala. I really need my producer here. Yeah. I don't know what I'm thinking. There we go. Saturday Night In. We remember tune in on October 17th live, 7:30 p.m. Central at soioo.org. And any final thoughts, Erin and Wajo, and then Chris? Any final thoughts on your overall time here today on the Special Chronicles show to share with our listeners?
This has been a huge treat.
This has been so much fun, Daniel. This has been so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We literally put the kids down at 7:59 and sat down here and did this. So this was, after a long day, this was such a treat. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. It's been an honor, and hopefully we can stay in touch. Hopefully we can, when it's safe to do so, we can meet, or at least socially distant, but we can, with these little things that people ask things, but get connected in person and maybe do some type of storytelling live. I don't want to totally copy what the BBC is doing at the Fringe Festival in Scotland, but like maybe like some type of storytelling live, Special Chronicles, Special Olympics type.
That sounds fun.
So we'll have to talk off air about that. But Chris, any final thoughts?
No, I leave it to Roger and Erin to take us to the end. So I just, in front of everybody, I just want to thank them so much for giving us direction, because we knew that if we didn't bring somebody like them in, it would have been, it might have been produced well, but it wouldn't have been written or acted well. So we really appreciate them.
Awesome. So stay tuned, October 17th, 7:30 p.m. Central, SOILL.org. We will, it's going to be totally, all the jokes and script and comedy skits are going to be totally lit. I hope I'm using that right. Totally lit. Is that right? Yeah.
I'm way too old to know if you're using it right.
I think you are.
Yeah, yeah, I think. I like to hope I'm, yeah. Anyways, with that, we're gonna go, and the way we're gonna end this episode is we're gonna play the Gala promo again, because I love that music.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully,
if you watch NBC5, that's the commercial that plays on NBC5 throughout the week.
Awesome. So we will, and will we hear some of that music in the?
I don't. Maybe.
Maybe.
Might.
Maybe. It's
they
all.
Tell me everything.
It's all maybe, yeah. It's maybe. We'll see. You guys,
I'm their boss. I'm their boss, but I'm also the really old guy. They kind of push to the side.
You can.
So they're all young and hip.
You can. I know they're totally hip and lit. And lit.
There you go.
You just keep using that, Daniel. You're gonna get it one of these times.
One of these times I'll get it.
Daniel, you got to remember Roger's tip. You got to sell it, man. You got to.
Yep.
Okay, I'll work on that.
You got to sell it.
I'll work on that the next time that hopefully you guys can come back on an episode and maybe share a little bit more of your backstory with your daughter and if we do a storytelling live, I'll work on that and I'll get better with that.
All right, sounds good. I think it's pretty good as it is. But.
With that, I thought we could end with saying we remember choose to include all at the same time as I hit my mic. So we'll say choose to include at the very end, and then I'll play the outro. So hopefully we'll see you next week. Next week is the big 500. It's a big 400th episode, and we celebrate the 12-year anniversary of Special Chronicles is coming up next week. So stay tuned. Well, next week. If you listen to this in a month, if you're watching this live. And until then, remember choose to include.
Join Special Olympics Illinois on October 17th at 7:30 p.m. for the virtual gala featuring athlete David Harlan and musical guest Bonner Brothers Band. For event information and to watch, visit www.soill.org.
Until next week, remember, choose to include
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
And let me go ahead and stop this video in the